Demonstrating Professionalism. 4E, Part 1 of 4. Specifically, a teacher has the highest standards of integrity, always holds students and required school information confidential, and is honest in professional and student-family interactions. Specifically, we're going to get organized. And then once we get our files organized, we're going to look at how to back them up. So I'm talking about your digital files. Unfortunately, what happens is we save a little here, a little there, some at home, some at school, but it's very hard to have a high standard of integrity if everything's all over the place. And what's added to that challenge is some of your stuff is on paper, some is in binders, some is in a filing cabinet, and some of it's on the computer. And so when we really look at this module that we want to make sure that we are keeping sensitive information confidential, we need to be organized and we need to have it all backed up. And a computer never makes an appointment to crash. And with that said, you don't want to lose 20 years of your teaching career all on one computer hard drive. So we're going to talk about that, not only the organization, but protecting your stuff. You have to protect your data. You are in charge of your data. Now, with it said, this is a book that I wrote. It's getting a little dated now. It does talk about floppy drives in there. It is getting a little dated, but even though I wrote the book on it, doesn't mean that I haven't had computers crash. So conquering your info clutter. I love that because I think everybody in the world has info clutter. Mine, I'm great on the computer. It's when the computer and the paper come together. Yikes, that is so difficult for me. So this is a very easy lesson to teach, but it's going to take you some while to pause me and to go do and build and create this, what I call a digital file cabinet. So I want you to imagine in your documents that my system that has been tried and true for a long time, try to stick with it, is when you open up your documents or your hard drive or wherever you're storing your documents, there should be 4 or 5 folders. That's it, no more. 4 or 5 main folders. And you gotta make sure they're separate. And do not make one of the folders miscellaneous. You know, you think you're gonna get back to it. We're educators, we never have time to get back to anything. This is maybe a digital file cabinet of an elementary teacher where they teach everything in different content areas. And so anything to do with science should be in the science folder. So you really want to make sure that you have a place for everything. Often it's a right click or control click to create the folder. And you want to make sure that here we have the content area folder. So if we look back, that's the one at the top, one of your 4 or 5 across the top. Now, a lot of people open up their documents and there's everything at that level. Actually, I find it much easier if there's 4 or 5 at the main level, and I color code mine, on 4 or 5 on the main level, and then I drill down to the layers below that. So one would be my content areas, and then below that, that's where I would go ahead and populate. The key is when I go to look for something, there should be one and only one place to find it. It's not maybe it's over here or maybe it's over there. You've got to have a clear-cut plan and a system. And if you team teach or work with somebody else, you both need to understand the system just in case you have to go in and reach into the other person's files and pull something out. Now, language arts, for example. Language arts, there's a lot going on in language arts if you're an elementary teacher. You may want to separate reading and writing. You might even have an additional folder for spelling. So you want this system has to be personalized to you. So what I want you to really think about is what kind of mess do you have going on right now? And most importantly, making sure you understand where your files are. Now, one caution, you should never, ever, ever have your files just in one place. They should be backed up in at least 2 different places on 2 different types of devices. So you always want to make sure you have at least 2, maybe more. Now there's all different views and there's all different ways that you can look at your files and formats, and look in the upper left-hand corner. Almost every operating system has something like this where you could see detail lists or a different organization. So you can kind of float between those to see what works the best. But then you can see I have a folder. So Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, one of my all-time favorite books. There is one folder, only one place for Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Anything tied to that would be in that folder. Same with the fairy tales and Frog and Toad. There's only one place for those things. This is probably closer to what many of your drives look like. Now here comes the hard part. I can teach this lesson just in a very short amount of time, but now you have to slog through and you have to drag the files and put them away. You also have permission to throw things away. Looking at some of these files, I don't think that I need all of these. I think the Christmas labels from 2009, goodbye, they can go. So throw things away, organize them any way that you can. But this is the hard work. So if you need to face this, go ahead and hit pause and go start dragging and dropping. All right, here it is. This is part nobody likes to hear this lesson. The backing up. Because you don't really thinking about backing up until a computer crashes. And then usually it is too late. Sometimes your magic tech people can save them, but usually it's gone. And it looks like what mine looked like when it crashed. Worked perfectly one evening, and the next morning, this is what I woke to. All right, we're not all computer science majors. We are educators, so we need some simple strategies. And one of them is backing up to an external hard drive. This is one example of an external hard drive, and they come in all different sizes, shapes, colors, everything. But what it is it is a hard drive that usually connects with a FireWire or a USB to your computer, and then it backs up to that device. What you don't want to do is keep that device with your computer. You want to make sure that you keep it in a separate location. Very important. So a lot of people back up. Yes, I'm all backed up. They put it in their computer bag and somebody reaches in and steals the bag. Now your backup and your computer are gone. So you definitely want them saved in different places. So how big of a hard drive do you need? It depends. If you have a million pictures and lots of music, go for a little bit of a bigger backup. If you just have a few things here or there, you could probably get by with a flash drive. And so just a flash drive of whatever size, they've come down so dramatically in price that you can get a flash drive very inexpensively. But be careful. A lot of people go, I just love in a workshop, they'll hold up and they'll say, oh, everything for my master's degree is on this flash drive. I just want to almost cry because flash drives, just like everything else, they fail. I've even had an external hard drive fail on me. So it does happen. And so I try to make sure that I have a variety of things backed up. If I'm in the middle of writing something that's very important, I will back it up in at least two, usually three places. Now, we've got some options. And on the Mac, I love the feature called Time Machine. Time Machine lets you go back in time so you never have to worry about losing it. But what I like is once a week it reminds me, Time Machine would like to update. And it only updates the files that have been changed, modified, or moved instead of doing everything over and over again. Well, that's my Mac solution. There's many other ones. And some people take everything that they have on their computer and back it up to the school network. Hey, I'm all good with that. I wouldn't take your personal music and put it up there, but I'm good with you backing everything up to the network. But I would make another backup. Things happen, fires, floods, things do happen. So just to make sure it's in at least two different places. The other thing too is a lot of times on the school network, you will be limited. You'll get the nice little message from the tech department that says you have too much stuff, clean it out. And it always comes at such a good time of year for you to sit down and clean everything out. So that external hard drive's looking better and better. But you can back up to the school network if you have one. I also use Dropbox because I can access Dropbox from any device that I'm on, and I can access it anywhere I can get to the internet. So if I can get to the internet, I can get to my stuff. And I love that about Dropbox. Now, Norton has antivirus, of course, but there is also the ability to back up. It's called Norton 360, and it automatically, you set up how often do you want your backups to go. Do you want them to go at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning? You want to go ahead and set that up, and then you pick how long you want to have, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, and go ahead and back everything up. Do check those settings, because a lot of people think it is being done like some magic in the middle of the night, and it's not. So just, if you haven't checked in a while, check. Now, we talk a lot about our school files and things like this, but this all applies to your personal life too. You can't imagine losing all of those pictures of the darling grandbaby or the dog or whatever the case may be. Back them up. You may want to get an external hard drive just for home. A lot of people keep their music on an external hard drive. Just don't neglect your home while you're so busy on your professional life. So Norton 360 is one option. McAfee also has an online backup solution, and you go ahead and buy that by the year. Just make sure you stay up with it so you won't lose your data. And this one has a lot of people excited. And Carbonite has an encryption system, as well as the rest of them are encrypted, also meaning that nobody can grab your files as they're going through the cyberspace. But I know Carbonite, I studied it very closely, that they have a very secure encryption. So you may want to look at pricing and make sure that you have a backup solution. Now, iCloud is replaced. Mobile Me came before that, but now it's iCloud. And again, what I like about this is it crosses all my devices. So wherever my notes are, it automatically is synced through the cloud, and I can access it on any device, which I do really, really love. And I like the nice clean interface. It absolutely works for me. So it doesn't matter what solution you pick, but you need a solution, and you have to do this today. So as easy it is to teach this module of organize your folders into 4 or 5 at your main level. I don't limit how many you have underneath that, but you're 4 or 5 at your main level. And most importantly, once you clean up the mess, is that you back everything up. Demonstrating professionalism, 4E, part 1 of 4. Thanks.